Chapter 7. Hermione and Liam walked into the sitting room at Malfoy Manor. Liam's eyes were wide as he took in the grand room with vaulted ceilings and lavish furnishings. "Welcome," Malfoy said, grinning. "Do you want the tour?" "Do we have enough time? I'm certain it would take at least a full day to tour this place. I guess maybe we could skip the torture rooms in the dungeon, and that should shave off a few hours." Hermione looked around the room with suspicious eyes. It was incredibly ostentatious. "Ha ha ha. I would have thought your skull was full of all that knowledge you were supposed to possess. Who knew you had space for mockery?" Hermione leaned in to whisper. "Didn't you hear? I sold my soul to make room for sarcasm. Lucky you." She winked at him. "Oh my Godric, was she flirting?" "Shut that shit down, Granger." Draco lifted an eyebrow to her, and she quickly looked away. No, she was not going to flirt with the incredibly wealthy, attractive father of her child. She wasn't even sure she liked the man as a person, let alone as anything else. "What are you guys talking about?" "Nothing," they said at the same time. "This place is really big." Liam was now wandering the room. "How do you keep it clean?" "I have live-in help, my house elves, Piper and Poppy." Suddenly, a loud crack filled the space, and two house elves were standing next to Draco. "Master, you called?" the shorter one squeaked. Hermione ground her teeth as the little beings looked lovingly up at the man they called Master. "Sorry, I was just telling Liam about you. You remember I told you Liam and his mother were coming to stay for a few weeks?" Yes, of course, Master Draco. We have been looking forward to meeting them." "Mom, house elves!" Liam blurted in complete surprise, staring at them. "Hello, my name is Liam Granger." He held out his small hand to the elves, who stared at it superstitiously. "I see that." Hermione glared at Draco. "Don't start, Granger." "Oh, wouldn't dream of it, Malfoy." "Would you like something to eat or something to drink, miss?" the other elf asked. "I'm quite all right, thank you so much," to the disappointment of the elves. "So we'll do the tour another day. Would you like to at least see the menagerie?" "A what?" Liam asked, confused. "A menagerie. A place where animals are kept. I have some rehabilitating animals on the property, a project my mother began. There are some pretty cool magical beasts we are working on returning to the wild, if you'd like to see." "Yes, please. Is that all right, Mum?" "Sure, let's go." Draco led them out to the back veranda where a small white stone building sat. There was ivy crawling up the side and a tall wrought iron gate surrounding it. As they entered the door, Hermione knew at once that it had been charmed. The inside was sprawling, and a number of different noises filled the room, from roars to screeches. The first exhibit held a large white jungle cat with spots covering its fur. It had two long fangs that hung out of its mouth and an ivory horn. "What kind of animal is this?" Liam asked in rapture. "It's a fang-toothed Grimalican. He was trapped in a poacher's den in India. He had been without food or water for who knows how long, and had a dislocated leg. We've been helping mend and nourish him for a few weeks now. He'll be leaving probably next week." "Oh, that poor baby. He's beautiful." The cat was rubbing its side against the bars of the cage, lazily walking back and forth. They walked down and inspected the beautiful exhibits, each one designed to make the inhabited feel at home. They stopped at the orphan Gnarls, the blind moon calf, and an Urkling with a bandaged wing. There were two cages left at the end, and in the first was a beautiful rose-gold unicorn. Her hair was a dusty pink, and her horn looked as though it had been sawed off. "Who would do this?" Hermione asked, horrified. "Luckily, the poachers were caught. They'll be in Azkaban for a very long time." "She's the most beautiful animal I've ever seen." Liam had his hands wrapped around the bars and his face pressed in between them. "One left, but this one isn't being rehabilitated. She lives here." The last cage held a giant phoenix and had an opening near the top of the habitat where she could fly off. A phoenix? Hermione asked, surprised. Yes, she came to be rehabilitated, but she would always fly back here after we released her. Her name is Cinere. Cinere. It's Latin. It means ashes. There was a lovely plaque sprawled across the top of her cage, and it read, Non ori ex favula erit. Draco must have noticed her inspecting it. It's also Latin, from the ashes she will rise. Goosebumps spread across her skin as he spoke, the beautiful bird spreading its magical wings. She wondered if the plaque might mean more to Draco than just for the phoenix. That night, the three of them shared dinner outside, and fireflies lit up the backyard. Liam was convinced they were magical and ran off to try and catch and inspect them. Hermione sat next to Draco as the sun dipped